Thank you so much, guys. It's a really great comment, GT, that you made here. We're going to get into the potential draft picks that could be at number 10 and number 32. Get your thoughts in on that. But hey, Tone, can you do me a favor, man? Can you put up GT's $10 his $10 super chat? Sills, it's okay to like your style. Unfortunately, for these are the new era white and black quarterbacks with crazy running ability to get away from the fast defenses. Is there something to that? So you're saying what he's saying is that Jalen Hurts' style is what's going to be the fashionable thing to build your football team around, more so than building a team around a drop back quarterback. Okay. Jones can run. Trevor, Justin Herbert, Fields. It's a copycat league. The defenses are fast unless you have elite pass blocking lines. And the only way you have those lines if you're not paying your quarterback. Now here, let me put this at you guys here before we get into some of the things. And please hit the like button. Guys, let me here. There's something to what GT's saying here. The reason that Ohio State and USC don't produce quarterbacks. Again, remember something. Caleb Williams is not their guy. He transferred to them. USC does not produce quarterbacks. They never have. Why is that? Well, they've always had dominant running attacks. They haven't had, well, back in the day. But you know what the problem with USC since Pete Carroll's been? They've been constantly looking for the drop back guy at USC, and they've never found him. Same thing with the Dolphins. They've never found the next Dan Marino. Look at what they did in Denver. They never found the next John Elway. They had to go buy one. What Jalen Hurts does is this. Maybe you don't have a great O-line. He can escape and cover some of your problems. When you lose dudes in the O-line or you lose a receiver, he's still going to get positive yards for you. I apologize about the internet again here. We've had some issues today, but it's all good. So what GT is saying is, GT, I don't know so much as it really is helpful to have a quarterback like that when you have to pay a guy. The problem, but GT, the problem with doing that, you're relying on a guy to stay healthy. There's not a ton of upside with these guys to stay healthy. You're hoping he stays healthy. Hold on. Duel-Threat doesn't last. It's not sustainable. That's why teams still build around a drop back concept. Okay? Hurts can make the throws. Yale, he can. But he gets hurt. Hurt a shoulder. Last year was an ankle. Next year it's going to be something else. It's just not durable enough. That's been my concept on it. See, some of you out here always take it like this. Sileo hates Hurts. That's not what I'm saying here. Actually, I never said that. It's just not sustainable. It wasn't this year sustainable. Cost himself the MVP because it wasn't. It's not sustainable. So when you say that, it's a copycat league, GT, for how long? 3 years? 4 years? Then you're looking for the next running quarterback? There's more of those guys coming out of college than the Joe Burrows of the world and the Mahomeses of the world? Okay. You're probably right. Those quarterbacks are more being developed in college like that? Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, fair enough. But I'm still saying they're not, it's just not. And then when you put that much money of your cap around a dual threat, it's not sustainable. It's just not sustainable. Watch this. Mac Jones is going to play longer than Jalen. Mac Jones is going to play longer than Josh Allen. They're just going to play longer. Are they better? No. But he's going to play longer. Jalen's smarter, and I'm not saying he's not. I think he's smarter than Lamar. But watch this. Richie goes, Drew Brees got injured in the dude. You don't look at Drew Brees and Jalen Hurts and see the same guy, do you? You don't see the same guy, do you? Jalen relies on both his running and throwing. And Brees' injury, nobody on the planet thought he was coming back. It was a catastrophic shoulder injury. Not even Dr. Andrews thought he was going to come back. It was catastrophic. That's why Saban took Dante Culpepper instead of Brees. Anybody with a brain would have took Brees. Brees was a Pro Bowler. Not that Culpepper wasn't. But when Culpepper lost his wheels, he was never the same. Brees came back from the injury. He didn't rely on running. He was a drop-back passer. All these drop-back passers come back. All the dual-threat guys never come back. They never come back. Brady got hurt in the pocket. Came back, won 4 more Super Bowls. Because he doesn't run. Jalen Hurts is a runner first, then a thrower. This guy was on pace for 200 carries. Dual threat doesn't last. I have the facts. You don't. No, Tate. No. What's your answer? Let Hurts walk? Hell no. Absolutely no. But you got to keep along that style then. Once Hurts is done and finished and that pony's broken down, you get another one. Because I do agree with GT on this point. Okay, they're developing more of that style in college than they are the drop back guy. I agree with that. Kyler Murray, won't see him till next October. Dual threat also doesn't win a Super Bowl according to Sills. Okay. Hey, Sean, do you really want to go down the things that I said that he wouldn't do? Do you want to go there? He'd never throw for 30 touchdowns. He didn't. He didn't go for 4,000 yards. He didn't. He wouldn't last the season. He didn't. Do you really want to start being a scoreboard? Yeah, 2-5 start, but I still said you get to the Super Bowl. You wouldn't have 2,000-yard receivers. It happened. But all the things I said about Hurts did happen. And it did happen exactly the way I said it. He was never going to throw for $4,000. Why? Because he'd get hurt. And it's exactly what happened. Would I have drafted him in the second round? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's not my style. However, can I tell you something, Figueroa, that Jalen has done? He's made me pause now and think about drafting a dual threat guy in the latter rounds. Here, I'll make this point to you. I'll make this point to you about something that I've told everyone. If I was a general manager of a team, there wouldn't be a draft that I wouldn't draft a quarterback because you never know when you land on Brady. You never know when you land on Nick Foles. You never know when you land on Kirk Cousins. You never know when you land on somebody who could be a functional guy for you and put up yards for you and win some ball games. You never know. Brock Purdy. I would always draft a quarterback. Now, I'm not going to take a premium pick for that, depending on what my needs are that respected year. But I'm always going to draft a quarterback because you never know when you land on Mr. Relevant. You never know when you land on him. Hurts is a unicorn. Isn't that crazy? Nick Saban couldn't see it. Okay? I would always draft a QB. Once again, guys, just make sure you guys understand we're having some internet in and outs today, so thank you for your patience. Look at Stanley. Did he really put Foles in those? Yeah, jackass. He was drafted later, and he won you a Super Bowl. The point was, again, here's a guy that can't hear. If I was an NFL general manager, I would always draft a quarterback in the latter rounds or depending on what my needs were. You never know when you land on Brady. Nobody saw Tom Brady in the 6th round. Not even the Patriots. They missed on him 5 times. 31 teams missed on him 7 times. Cousins was taken in the 4th round. Montana in the 3rd round. You never know. Russell Wilson, 3rd round. Dude, I'm not comparing Foles and Brady. I'm saying you never know when you get a good quarterback that you can functionally win game. Holy shit. Idiotic. I need to stop because some of you just don't follow along very well. Hurts will continue to get better. Yale says Hurts is going to continue to get better, depending on his health. Depending on his health. We need another dual-threat quarterback. GT, I'll tell you the guy that I love. I'd like to take a look at Deion Sanders' kid as a backup to Jalen Hurts. That kid at Colorado, if he plays well this coming season, I'd like to take a look and see if that kid could be a factor. Maybe he could be a backup to Hurts. I mean, right? The kid Hooker at Tennessee looks pretty good. He does. Okay? Ugh. Hurts will heal? We'll see. Then would he actually come out early and leave his dad hanging for a new quarterback? Why not? The objective is not to play for your father. It's to get drafted in the NFL. You'd like to do both. You know, there's got to be a time when the son leaves Deion, and you know who coaches him, right? Tom Brady. The kid Caleb, I mean, he's going to be a top pick. I apologize again about the internet. Sorry, guys, today. USC's last good quarterback was Carson Palmer. Okay. That's their only good quarterback. I think Hooker's a good-looking player out of Tennessee. I liked him a lot. I had him on my Heisman list, too. If Jalen Hurts wins the Super Bowl, Anthony Richardson will be the first quarterback off the board. No way. Absolutely no way. Stroud and Bryce Harper are going first. Those 2 quarterbacks are going. Richardson will not. I've seen Richardson play. To me, when I watch him play, he reminds me of an unpolished Lamar Jackson right now. I think there's potential. When you watch Richardson at Florida play, you see a little Lamar Jackson. You do. Strong arm, can move. He's a big kid. I see it too. I see it when I watch him play and when I watch him move. He's a tough kid. Plays in the toughest conference in the country. I like the kid Richardson. I do. Oh, no, Murph. I think he goes high. I think he does. He could be floating around the 10th mark and the 10th pick. I think he could be there. Bryce Harper. Did I say that? Excuse me. Bryce Young. Right. Bryce Young. Seals doesn't hate the Eagles. He just tells you how it literally is. He answers the tough questions. Dave, thank you. That's exactly what we do here. I'm not saying my takes are 100% always right. Okay, but it's my opinion. And Can I say something else on that? When a person has an opinion, I am one of the very few hosts that does this. Man, I'm so glad I'm wrong. You go back in my entire 35-year broadcasting career. Tone, remember this. Tone's a young broadcaster. I'm happy when I'm wrong. I don't try to drive the point home. Some of you go, it's flip-flop. No, the player play. My opinion on a player changes with the player's production or lack thereof. Isn't that how it's supposed to be a take? When you're talking about a player like Jalen or Wentz, am I supposed to talk about Carson Wentz 2017 in the same light in 2023? How does that make remote sense? In 17, he was an MVP. Today, he's going to be struggling to get a job. So am I supposed to hold to that 17 banner because I made an opinion? My opinions fluctuate on your production, not my take. My take is the observation. Okay? My take is the observation on the player or the coach. That's all. I never thought that was always so controversial. Sills, Jalen Hurts is better than he was a year ago. And you see him winning more and you see him getting better. Correct. Yes. Well, you said last year he sucked. Well, so did everyone else, including the Eagles. They gave Carson Wentz a massive contract. And they made it public. Hurts was never going to take the job. They needed a backup. That's how they positioned it, even to you. Sean Gosills, do you think Stetson Bennett, he's old, but he's a winner? I'm okay with Stetson Bennett on my team for 3 or 4 years, but I don't think he fits what the Eagles are doing. I think you need a mobile guy back there because if Jalen gets hurt, you don't want to have a Gardner Minshew scenario where you have Shane Steichen giving him the same game plan. That's a great point right there, Sway. Sports is like politics. Everybody has a different opinion on something. And policies change all the time, don't they? Republicans like this, Democrats like this. Open borders, closed borders. It's every 4 years. That's why our government is always in chaos, because there's a difference of opinion every year. That's why nothing gets done in Washington. There's no stability in Washington. Never has been. Never will be. That's why when government is the way it is and the seesaws like this, and it's every 4 years, everyone's got to – we go from one mentality in government to another one in 4 years overnight. There's no chance of winning. There's no chance of winning. That's why when you have – look at the Steelers. Steelers have a philosophy they've had there since 1969. And it's why they're the winningest program and why they're the gold standard of how you run a football team. 3 coaches in – 60 years? There's a reason that happens like that, and Pittsburgh's always good. Even when they're down, Pittsburgh's always good. Why? Tomlin, Cowher, and Noel. That's all you need to know about the Steelers. There's no knee-jerk reaction in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh will always be a great franchise because of the Rooneys. Always. Emmanuel Forbes, the cornerback, is special. Trade Slade, draft a kid. He'll be a Philly legend. Marky, I'm going to get to that stuff here in a minute. Tyler goes, hey, Dan, can you please answer my question? Are there any good linebackers in the NFL draft? We'll get to that here. I got a couple. Figueroa, listen, I'm over this crap. I'm a diehard Eagle fan, and whoever tells you they were sold on Jalen is full of shit. We were all panicking, and we were ready to double up the first-round picks. Absolutely true. Figueroa, You see, what happens is people like to change the narrative on Hurts and say that they knew, including Nick Saban. Nick Saban's going around doing all the public relations stuff now in Jalen Hurts because Jalen Hurts is in the Super Bowl. That'll be his biggest failure as a coach, is the fact that he gave up on him. He gave up on him. Super Bowl MVP could be a player Nick Saban quit on. But now, hey, I know he's my guy, and I love him, and he's this, and he's that, and he's that, and you're like, dude, it's great after the fact. It's great after the fact. Nick Saban quit on him. You know, these college coaches, always remember when I tell you this, and by the way, we're going to get to the draft. Always remember this about these college coaches. Let's look at Urban Meyer for a second here. Okay? Let's look at the lying coaches in college sports. So when that liar, Urban Meyer, was at Florida, he had Cam Newton in the building with Tebow. Black quarterback in Florida. I got baby Jesus and Tim Tebow. Who do I want the face of my franchise? Cam Newton or Tim Tebow? How do you think that guy got a tryout to be a tight end last year? He owed it to him. He owed it to him. Not that Tebow was a bad college quarterback. He was one of the greatest. But Cam also won a Heisman. Cam also won a national title. And Meyer fired him for some lame-ass laptop deal. Must have been Hunter's. I'm kidding. He threw him out of the building. He had to go to junior college. Fast forward to Ohio State. Him and Ryan Day told Joe Burrow to go to hell. Burrow had to leave. He gets an NFL job. He can't coach Trevor Lawrence. Anybody who says that Urban Meyer knows what he's doing with quarterbacks and Saban are liars. I apologize about the internet. Those guys don't give a shit about your NFL career. They're not there to coach you for Sundays. Those guys are there to coach you for Saturdays. It's all they care about is Saturdays, not Sundays. That's for you. NFL, if you end up going and playing at the next level, that's great. But they don't give a shit whether you're a pro or not. It's whether or not you can make money for them and the school. Urban Meyer couldn't coach anybody but Alex Smith. All the rest of them bums he had turned out to be NFL duds. He knows quarter. And you hear the guys at Fox going, oh, this guy's a great quarterback. Dude, that guy couldn't find a quarterback if he was standing in front of him. He almost destroyed Cam Newton's career. Tone goes, that's why I don't get mad when players decide to skip out on bowl games. Why? Dude, of course. I don't know you anything. That's why when Bryce Young, I did love how Saban played Will Anderson and him. Once they got a lead, they yanked him, which was the right thing to do. You don't want to hurt those kids' opportunities. And I give those kids credit because they played in that Sugar Bowl. They wanted to close out their Alabama careers. And I really love that. I do. I really love that. I thought that was an awesome moment. Okay, but at the end of the day, it's a do-nothing game. The only person that gets paid on that game is the coach. You know, Nick Saban, how much money he won for winning the Sugar Bowl? $500,000. You know what the players get? If they have a Neal deal, they're good. But if you're the left guard on that Bama team, you're not making nothing. Coach makes $500,000. And I'm supposed to stay for him? If I'm a first rounder, kiss my ass. Sorry, coach. I'm out. That's why all the Miami guys, hey, you know the big thing at Miami used to be? If you played a full 4 years at Miami, you must not have been very good. That was back in my time. Nobody played 4 years. Dude, you didn't play 4 years. You didn't play 4 years. Unless you had some injury, they redshirted you, you weren't good early. That happens. But if you weren't good, you played 4 years. Yeah. That's why you see a lot of 4-year guys at Miami now coming out. You're like, well, they must. That's how I look at it. I go like this. Well, shit, he played 4 years at Miami. He must not have been very good. Still not being funny, but asking seriously, why do you dislike Urban Meyer so much? Okay, Monroe. Urban Meyer was the biggest liar in the history of college football. He had 37 arrests at Gainesville in his 5 years as head coach at Florida. Nobody ever held him accountable. He had players on his team like Aaron Hernandez, who everyone knows he was firing weapons off in Gainesville, and no one said anything about it. But all the arrests, do you imagine this? 37 arrests in 5 years. You added up on how many guys were arrested monthly to win those 2 national titles. He goes to Ohio State, and he has on the big wall there, treat women right. He's got an offensive wide receiver coach on his coaching staff that's beating his wife all the time. And the local cops in Columbus know it. And the only reason that coach is on the staff is because he's related to Earl Bruce. This guy never told the truth. He constantly painted a portrait for all of you to see that was not true. It was like Tiger Woods. I love this version of Tiger 10 times better than I did Tiger when he was winning. Tiger's more real now. He's fallible. He's relatable. He looks like a human being now. Sills doesn't like Gators. That's probably too a little bit of that vet. So what does he do? He's back on Fox. How does a scumbag like that get back on Fox? Who was harboring a guy who beats a woman? How does that happen? He was beating his wife monthly. The cops in Columbus were called. And he's now working. He knew it. He knew it. How do you think the Patriots got Aaron Hernandez? Why do you always see Bill Belichick down with Urban Meyer down in Florida? You know why? He was telling him this kid's a first-round draft choice, but he's got massive character issues. What did he take him in, 4th or 5th round? There's a first-round pick. He's probably the greatest player out of my home state of Connecticut. Urban Meyer. Oh, by the way, a year ago, I don't know. Yale, maybe you were one of them. But I said Urban Meyer will not last a year at Jacksonville. I said that everyone thought I was crazy. And who would have thought Nick Sirianni turned out to be the better coach? And all of you in Philly were probably going, Nick who? And you're watching Jacksonville with Urban Meyer and all that big name shit. And you're all going like this. Look at Urban Meyer down in Jacksonville. Look what we got. We got Nick Sirianni and they got Urban Meyer. Gee, why couldn't we have done that? Because you know why? Your owner is a really good understanding of who to hire and who not to hire. Look at the hires that he's had since he's owned the team. Every coach has made the playoffs. Since Andy Reid, every coach has a winning record. That guy knows what he's doing when it comes to hiring head coaches. He does. Jeffrey Lurie is a great owner. He is a great owner, man. Would Hernandez have been better than Gronk? No. But Aaron Hernandez was better than Travis Kelce. Okay? Urban Meyer had Trevor Lawrence and couldn't coach him. Then again, that's not a shocker. He couldn't coach Cam. And he couldn't coach Burrow. What would make me think he could coach Trevor Lawrence? You know why? Because those coaches think they know what it takes to win. But they don't. NFL level, get this. You don't tell a player what to do in the NFL. You show a player what to do in the NFL. See, in college, you could tell a player what to do. Because if he doesn't, you get the guy behind him. It doesn't work like that. You have to show a player how to win and win inside the guardrails that you build, which means you have to actually coach. There's more coaching in the pros, believe it or not, than in college football. You understand that, right? College football is about recruiting. Jimmy's and the Joes. Pro football, you got to show a guy. Then you have to hopefully find a guy like Jalen that will buy it.